Alright everyone, so in this video here, I'm gonna be reacting slash talking about the unboxing video for the Intellivision Amico. Wow. Um, let's just get started here. Before we continue though, I will say, just as a little disclaimer, I did put a $100 deposit on this console when it was first announced that people can start reserving systems. And that's essentially what I did. Um, take that as you may, but I'm just letting you know before we continue. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm John Alvarado, Chief Technology Officer.
On a side note, out of everyone that's been on camera in television, John is actually one of the few that I can tell that is one of the more sincere ones out of everyone that's been prominent on camera through Intellivision. So if they've used him from the start for basically all camera appearances when it comes to talking about the product, I think things would have been better than Tommy Tellerico, honestly. But we'll just continue on.
Good.
Let's
And I
take a
have the
look.
honor today to bring you something special that we've been working on for a while that's an important part of bringing Amico to the public. I'd like to thank the whole team, the art department, the marketing department, localization team, everybody that worked on.
By the way, if you notice a little stack of physical games, see if those actually are useful. And there's the box. This video is basically just showing the box. In all seriousness, though, and this is assuming this thing actually comes out. This is just assuming this thing actually does come out. And that's part of the reason why I am never going to cancel this thing. Because if I do manage to get one, even if the console is just absolute garbage, just having one and the story behind the creation of this thing is worth it alone to me. So take it as you will, but in terms of the box itself, in terms of the design, I actually do like the design of it. Though there are a couple of things about
This is
this.
the box that will appear on retail shelves and will be mailed to you if you pre-ordered an Amico. This particular box.
One issue though, and like I said before, this is assuming this thing actually comes out. A couple of things I've noticed, or it will become issues, assuming this thing comes out, is the way this box is designed. You're going to need something or a way for the sleeve and the box to stay as one unit until the customer buys it, assuming this thing comes out. So one of two things they would have to do. They would either have to use those clear circular type tapes to basically hold each of the sides together so it stays in place, or shrink wrap it. And honestly, if I had to choose which one, I would probably go the shrink wrap route. Because at least that way, even if it gets scuffed up, it's the shrink wrap and not the actual box and the sleeve itself. Let's just face it, most people working in retail, they're usually pretty rough with this stuff. So between the two, I prefer shrink wrap.
I'm going to mail to Hans Ippisch, our president of European operations.
And this is going to get shipped over to Europe.
Amico that he's going to demonstrate to our European partners.
I like how he calls European partners because I think it's going to be more investors to put money into this company. I think at this point, just to get enough money to start producing them. I think that's what it comes down to. Because from my understanding, and just on the side note, I did watch the stream through Smash JT, and John himself, the guy in the video here, he was actually there in the chat, actually answering some questions. The console that's in this box is not a retail version. It's more of a development unit, so more for development purposes. Also, this is more as a way to demonstrate how it look like, assuming this thing actually comes out, of course, how it actually looks like when you unbox it at home. So basically what they did was they got the box, they made this video. Before shooting it, they taken all the parts that, from an Amico console, put it all together, place it all in there, and start shooting this.
I'm going to open this up in a moment, but first, let's have a look at the sleeve. The sleeve changes based
There is a mistake
because this box
with
is
this,
Europe,
and I'm going to point it out here.
languages on the back. And then on the bottom side,
And the design itself, I don't have a problem with.
warnings and sport.
I'm pausing right here for one particular reason. This is supposed to be a European box. What's wrong with this UPC code? I don't know if anyone noticed from the start of this video, but if you notice, I'm capturing the entire Chrome browser in this video. And if you notice up here, I actually typed in this UPC code. And keep in mind, there are two different standards for UPC codes. There's a North American version and there's a European version. This is supposed to be a European box, but it has a North American UPC code. And if you notice, the picture of the console is black. So I looked it up. This is what Google shows up. If you notice, there's only 3, and these are all Canadian websites. It's a North American UPC code for the white version, not even the black one. They used the wrong UPC. So, out of curiosity, I was curious about UPC codes. So there are 2 different versions. There's the UPC, which is North American, and there's a EAN number for Europeans. So the biggest difference between the 2 versions is the UPC code is 12 digits, while the EAN number is 13 digits. That is a little weird. So if we go to the previous page, we can go to Amazon's webpage. And here it is. If we go back, go to Walmart's. It's listed on Walmart. Of course, Walmart updated where it says price unavailable. But like I said, it comes up as a white Intellivision Amico. So, did they use the... If we're going to give them the absolute benefit of the doubt, is that while this might be like how it will look like, it's not entirely finalized. But The fact that they're not even showing a European code for their UPCs is a little weird. Now, if anyone in Europe is watching this video and you have more information about this, please leave those comments down below because I'm actually interested in this. The way I'm looking at this right now and based on my couple minutes research on this should not be here. But maybe someone will clarify and I'm actually wrong about this, but that is a little suspect.
Information, requirements, and our partner logos here. And on the side here, you can see some highlights of the system. It comes with 2 controllers and 6 pack-in games. It's all family-friendly content. You can use smartphones as controllers, and there's interactive lighting throughout the system. Okay, let's remove the sleeve and see what we have. Oh, then we have the color of the console and controller you're getting on this side.
Here's a gripe I do have though, and this is something that other startups screwed up on, and that is coming out of the gate trying to sell multiple different versions of the same console basically in different colors. I don't know why they couldn't just stick with one color, because when manufacturing, distributing, and design the boxes and everything, if you just have one version in one color, it's always going to be cheaper than when you're trying to handle different variations of the same product. So they have black, white, they got like a wood grain one, they got that atomic purple one that's exclusive for GameStop. That's 4 right there. I think there's a couple of other colors, so I think there's like maybe 6 or so total. I don't know why they couldn't just stick with one color. That's just me though. They should have just stuck with one color out of just to start with, and then later on come out with other colors. Assuming this thing actually comes out. It's funny how I have to keep reiterating that. But the box itself looks fine. I'm gonna add something else to this.
Oh, look at that! Look at.
The presentation is fine. I don't really have a complaint about this. The bigger issue I do have though is the size of the box. You would think, trying to make the box itself as small as possible for shipping cost reasons would be beneficial. However, once he lifts this tray, because you got the tray for the console itself and the controls sitting there, when you lift that up, it's going to be a lot of empty space. I think they could have designed the box a little better to be a smaller box. Certainly a much thinner box. But let's continue. Also, shiny black plastic. PS3 all over again. The PS4 with the shiny black plastic on it. Those things are going to get scratched to hell. Assuming this thing comes out.
New controllers. Set there's a side here. We've got a quick start guide. Shows you how to set up. We'll need that.
That's fine. One thing I could have sworn, if I remember correctly, didn't they talk about how this was going to be wireless charging, Qi charging? That they're going to have built-in wireless chargers in this thing, not using contacts. Now, if I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt, is that there could be a couple of issues that comes up from this. I do use wireless chargers. I use a Pixel 6. It has wireless charging. Not long ago, I got some new chargers for my Pixel phone, which is the 2nd generation of the Pixel stand. I actually bought 2 of them, one for the house and then one at work. Those particular chargers have built-in fans. Why? because if you ever use a wireless charger, depending on how fast they charge, those things can get pretty warm. So maybe they tested them with wireless chargers, but they ran into problems. So the logical solution is to have contact points, which is probably cheaper also. So maybe in the long run, this is probably a better solution, assuming this thing actually comes out. But I could have sworn originally they talked about having wireless chargers. But I don't know. Could be wrong. And there's the RFID reader right there for your physical media that you can just scan your cards there. Because people want their physical media. Even though the game itself is not in the packaging. Assuming the console comes out, of course.
Here's the console. Let's pull this out. Oh, we have the lenticular poster. Nice. Put that aside.
A little bit of damage there, which is always nice.
In there. Oh, we've got our...
So if I go back some, look at all this empty space. They could have made the box slightly wider, used less cardboard, and had the box thinner. The design of the box, the sleeve and everything, I don't have a problem with. This, however, seems like a complete waste. A waste of space. That's just me, though. Now, maybe that's purposely done. You know, maybe later on, if they want to start packing some physical games, they can just use this empty space to throw those physical games in. But truthfully, I think this is mostly wasted material, wasted space. It is what it is. Maybe another reason why is this size box in terms of production is just a cheaper, lower cost box to make than making a more customized type of box. That could be it. But it seems like they could have made this box smaller.
Oh, we've got our HDMI cable. Need that. Have our safety straps, the wrist straps, and the power supply.
You know what? I'm curious about something.
Safety straps, the wrist straps.
Okay. Okay, I do see some branding on the those safety straps. So I do see that Intellivision Running Man logo on it.
And the power supply. Let's check that out.
Now this here,
Look at that.
people are having problems with. Because this is supposed to be a European console, or a European version of the console. And yet, it's using the US plug. So it's using the US plug. Now, I do know there are plugs out there, or power supply plugs like this, where you can basically make one version and then it's multi-regional. So that all you really have to do is just basically add the adapter that just plugs into the US plug. I've seen those kinds before. Maybe that's what this is, but I did not see any adapter for it. And like I said before from early in the video, this is a video where they got the box in, they got the near final version of the box design. So what they did was they took all the stuff, pack it all up in a presentable way, and then made this unboxing video for most likely investors in Europe.
We're ready to set up. Okay, I have all the parts laid out here.
Now another thing, I'm gonna try to not stop so much, but one thing I will say
Look at that.
Some people are making fun of this.
We're ready to
I
start.
think it's smart. And that is putting the Intellivision Amico name on the power brick, on the power supply. Because, and this is someone coming from a previous job where I used to do Apple Care. So phone support for Apple customers, which is why I don't use Apple products because, and just on the side note, most people working at the call center did not use Apple products either. They use apple.com. So, so yeah, if you have to design a mass market product, assuming this thing comes out, and you're trying to design this for everyone, you have to cater it to the lowest common denominator. And by putting the name on the power plug, the person putting this together, or for whatever reason, if cables gets mixed up in someone's house, they're going to know that goes with the Amico. So in that way, that's actually smart.
Set up. Okay, I have all the parts laid out here. We'll follow the quick
Shiny black plastic is going to scratch like hell.
start. It says to connect to power first. I've already plugged it into the power, so I just need to attach it to the back of it.
So it uses a barrel style connector. There's a micro SD card slot for expanded memory. I have no idea what this USB-C port is for. But like I said, this is not a retail version. This is essentially a development unit, which maybe the development units has the USB-C port on it for that reason. But not really sure what that's for. And of course, the HDMI port. Maybe, hypothetically, maybe I'm looking too optimistic about this. Maybe this is a way to connect this to your computer, and maybe you can do like your own in-house development. Maybe a nice, what would be kind of cool though is even the retail versions. If you want to pay extra to turn it into a development unit, you don't have to worry about buying special adapters or anything. You just have the USB-C port there and you just connect it to your computer for game development purposes. That would actually be kind of cool. And that can be something of a as a something to make the console different from other consoles, because very, very few systems out there are even able to do that. The only other ones I can think of, actually the closest one would be the Xbox One and the Xbox Series consoles, where you can basically pay Microsoft like $20 to basically give you development mode or dev mode for like development purposes. So that's kind of cool. That would be a cool little thing if that's what that's for.
Amico, got that, and then connect
Assuming this thing comes out, of course.
to the TV. This HDMI is going to the TV, so I'm just going to plug it in here. Easy. It says to do the safety straps, which I've already done, so I'm ahead of the game there. Okay, it wants me to cradle the controllers. Let's do that.
Remember, kids, safety first.
Put it in this side down. As you can see, it's already turning on.
Of course, if I ever get this, assuming this thing ever comes out, I won't be using those safety straps because reasons.
Then charging because we have it connected to power. And then the last step is just to press the power button to get it onto the TV.
On a side note, they did cut the video in terms of like booting up and all that for time purposes, is what we were told. So who knows how long this actually takes to boot.
Okay, here we are in the Amico home menu in the My Games category, and we can look at some of the games here. This is Cornhole, see a video preview there. And we got Dynablast.
Cornhole.
That game, great multiplayer.
Cornhole.
And look at that, Flying Tigers. Really cool looking game.
A new Amico
Fun
game.
shooter game. All right, so let's go look at the system settings because this.
One of my issues with this user interface, first and foremost, not a big fan of it. It looks, to me, it just looks a little, it looks unfinished. But the bigger issue I have is these cogwheels. You know, if it's not like showing a game, it's always using cogwheels. So whether settings, help, redeem, internet, language, power, blah, 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 it's using the exact same icons. Could you not have like different icons? Because, you know, you're looking at it, even from a distance, some of these words just blends in. You know, it doesn't, to me, this here doesn't look all that good.
Is the European version going to Hans? We want to be able to change.
Plus, when they're spinning around,
We have lots of different languages in Europe. And German is Hans's favorite. So let's try German. You can see it changes top there. And you can go back out to the menu and see that the headings have changed. It's all German. And even if we go look at some of the games, like let's say
and being that this is an internet-enabled device, assuming the console comes out, of course, they can always do a system update where they improve the user interface, but assuming this thing is viable enough to start doing all that stuff, one of my to-do lists is to redesign this entire user interface because I personally don't like this.
you look at Astro Smash and you see the buttons there are in a different language. So that's all working just great.
It is kind of cool that it does show you like gameplay
Other languages.
while you're selecting games, which is fine.
I like French. I speak a little bit
I just
French or understand it a bit, so try that.
seems a little. This reminds me of like a PlayStation style user interface that would be used for a game. That's what this kind of reminds me of.
There. And let's take a peek at Tommy's favorite, Italiano there. Now we're in Italian.
I guess Tommy needed his name in this video, so
For localization,
that was that little plug, I guess.
let's get back to English. And let's have a look at the store. There's an About Gear. What does it say? It says purchase games here. You must be connected to the internet. Aha! In order to purchase and download games. So we need to get connected to the internet. Let's go up to the internet here.
Yes, let's
and
go to the internet.
our Wi-Fi. Searching for networks. Oh, there we go. That's the one I like. Spacehawk. Yeah, let's connect. Connecting to the internet.
One thing I will say is, normally when you are trying to connect to a secure network,
Go to our Wi-Fi. Searching for network.
now let's just say this, maybe these were already configured.
Networks. Oh, there we go.
They use a Spacehawk, but it's locked. So this was previously connected because there is a forget icon to select. So yeah, it is. It's probably a Wi-Fi connection that was already connected before. That's why we don't see the part where they're entering the password. That's probably a security thing. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. So, a very, very high benefit of the doubt. Normally, you have to enter a password.
Let's connect. Connecting to the internet.
Assuming this thing comes out, I hope to God it actually automatically connects to the last known network it connected to. If you have to manually do this every single time you boot up this stupid console, that would be just a terrible, terrible design.
Yay, success! Done. Alright, so now when we go back,
At least we know this thing will actually have like 5G or 5 gigahertz connection. So,
oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Okay, so here we are in the store set up. We just have to enter the state and the zip code. So I'm going to put those in on my controller here.
one thing I will say is normally, shouldn't the device know like what country you're in at least? That way it just automatically configure that. It seems a little weird that you have to manually enter in the state you're in the zip code to access the store. Maybe the store is basically the same all over, as maybe it's just for maybe billing purposes. I don't know. It just seems a little weird that, like for me personally, most I've ever had to do is just tell the consoles like, yeah, I'm in the United States. All right, cool. We'll take it from there. Seems a little weird. It's like, yeah, I'm going to have to put in my state in my zip code.
CA, California. Go down and enter zip code here.
I want to see how this looks. Wow. Oh my God. This user interface for the keyboard. It looks like an early 2000s layout. It looks like an early attempt at an on-screen keyboard for some early touchscreen phone. That's just what this looks like. It doesn't look all that great. But hey, they can always issue a over-the-air update, assuming this console comes out.
0. And then
Wait a minute.
92780. And then go back and we've got the store. So there we see.
Looked a little delayed in the presses.
So those are already full colored. The ones that I don't already have installed. Oh, there's one right there. Space Striker. Look, check that out. Space Strikers. And I can buy that if I want. Right now it's set to 0 price because the store is not active yet. But that's how you buy a game. Now that you've seen some features of the Amico home menu, I'd like to show you a few games that highlight the unique features of our controller. But for that, I'm going to need some help from friends, because friends and family is what Amico is all about. Let's get started with Cornhole. Some of you...
What happens if you don't have any friends? I guess you got the Switch, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PC, phone, an Evercade, Atari VCS.
You may remember the prototype we showed a while ago for Cornhole's throwing UI. Today we'll...
This is something I've noticed.
Prototype we showed a while ago for Cornhole's throwing UI. Today we'll...
Maybe it's just how this game is designed. It looks like there's a delay
Let's get started with Cornhole.
with this.
Some of you...
So let me change the playback speed.
may remember the prototype we showed.
Okay, that just sounds funny.
Cornhole's throwing UI. Today we'll
It seems like there's a delay.
Controllers.
Now, one thing I will say, too, and I'm going to change the playback speed to normal. Some people were doubting if this thing was actually real. Like, the games are actually being played off of the Amico console itself. Based on the stuff I'm seeing on the floor here, I can pretty much say that, yeah, I think this is an actual working unit. Because this is probably like some kind of splitter. I've used them before. You plug your source into the splitter and then splits the signal off to your TV and also to I'm assuming they're using some kind of capture card like an Elgato or something like that or something similar. And just on a side note, these splitters are actually a good way to not worry about any of the copy protection that goes through the HDMI signal. It actually strips those out. So yeah, you can always use those.
Cornhole is a game you can play with 1 to 4 players, and you use the motion controls of the controllers to throw a bag onto the board and hopefully into the hole. Brain Duel is a game that helps you exercise your brain, and it really shows off the advantage of a touchscreen on the controllers because players can compete in
Whoa, hang on a second. I'm just not noticing this.
brain, and it really shows off the advantage of a touchscreen.
Man, those things are scratched up. I wonder if this just has like a factory screen protector. They just never peeled it off. But if that really is a material they're using that easily scratches like that, even if you're trying to be extremely careful, they better come with protectors that you can pretty much leave it on, because holy crap, if this is how they can easily get scratched up like that, man, they're going to get scratched up to hell. Assuming this thing comes out.
On the controllers because players can compete in brain challenges, and each player has their touchscreen to enter their.
I have a feeling that this is going to be one of those products that on video looks fine, but when you see it in person and hook it up and just start using it, I have a feeling this is going to be one of those things that is just going to look and feel extremely cheap. Assuming this thing comes out.
Their answers. It features exercises in areas like logic, math, visual acuity, memory, and includes simple games like rock, paper, scissors.
Intellivision Pool.
It's a super fun game that uses the.
You can get games like this on other consoles. Just saying. I've seen a couple of similar versions like this on the Switch for not much money. Just saying.
Features of the controller to set up your.
So there's no gyro motion.
Shot. You set the general direction of the shot by moving your finger around the ball on the touchscreen, and then you can use the disc as a dial to fine-tune your angle. I love how the game shows the angles on the TV, which helps to set up a shot, but can still challenge you depending on the complexity of the shot. Backtalk Party is an original game. It takes advantage of the microphone in our controllers.
Oh yeah, I forgot it has a microphone.
Create a fun game show-like experience that the whole family will enjoy. Moon Patrol is a classic game that we've reimagined.
I play this one on my phone.
Player experience.
Not even kidding. The Intellivision Amico app had a demo of this. So you can fully play this on the touchscreen.
Just like the original classic, or you can play the Amico co-op experience.
One thing I'm going to say is, And I think when I tried this, I had the Pixel 5, so the previous version of the Pixel 6. If this game runs worse on the actual console than my previous generation phone, I'm just going to be speechless. Because I'll admit the game itself was actually running pretty smoothly on that thing. No real hiccups. So, if there's anything worse than that on the actual system itself, assuming it comes out, I'm going to be speechless.
Which is so much fun. You split up the duties of the buggy. Some people shoot, some people jump, some people drive, and you have to really cooperate to get through, and it's so much fun.
Hang on, let's take a look at this console. Yeah, the black plastic is slightly scratched up. Yeah, this thing is going to scratch like crazy.
So much fun. Flying Tigers is a super fun scrolling shoot 'em up that you can play single player or with a friend. It features a wonderful anime graphic style that everyone
Anime style graphics.
loves. Dynablast
This is a Bomberman clone.
is a great party game for up to 4 players. You can play
There's been clones of Bomberman over the years, so not that big of a deal.
competitive or co-op. In co-op mode, you work together to collect keys to get to the next level. I hope you enjoyed this first look at our Amico packaging and some of the unique games you'll get to play
Thank you, John. Thanks for showing me all of these unique features to the Amico.
on Amico. Thank you for watching.
Okay. So yeah, that's my thoughts, my reaction, and just pointing some things out with this unboxing video. So we'll see what happens. 80% sure this thing is not going to come out, but I'm holding out for that 20% for this thing to come out, because I've learned in life to never say never. So yeah, there you go. So let me know what you think down in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on this? And if you do have information or additional info about that whole UPC thing with Europe and North American codes, feel free to add them down below. But a little weird, honestly. A little bit of a sus, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens.